In 1970, I decided to stop eating meat. And I did so for several reasons. One was that I was starting to practice yoga, and vegetarianism was part of yoga philosophy. Secondly, I had a lot of friends who had become vegetarians in that era. This was a very different time now when vegetarianism was suddenly becoming popular, especially in the counterculture. And the people that I knew who had converted to vegetarianism looked like they were onto a good thing. I didn't have any aversion to meat. I was eating everything and anything in those days, including steak tartare, raw beef, dressed up. But I just, at one stroke, decided to stop eating meat and chicken and fish. I continued to eat dairy products. I also stopped eating eggs because I never really liked them that much. So technically I was a lacto-vegetarian, that is a vegetarian who was still eating dairy products. And I tried this as an experiment. I didn't intend to stay on it. To my surprise, I had very dramatic positive changes in how I felt. I lost weight, I got a lot more energy, allergies that I had disappeared. I've always liked to cook, and this was a period when I was experimenting a lot with cooking, and I found that this opened up whole new vistas of cooking, that I thought I really had many more possibilities in the ways of ethnic foods. And all this was a great surprise to me, and I never went back. I've never eaten red meat since 1970. It just agreed with me very much. The medical research that I've looked at certainly supports the health benefits of vegetarianism. So there's a great deal of medical literature showing that vegetarians tend to live longer, have lower rates of chronic diseases, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. Also, interestingly, vegetarian athletes consistently do better at endurance sports than athletes who eat meat. So there's a lot of potential benefits there. Some of that is from not getting things that are present in animal foods. The higher you are on the food chain, and cows and pigs and sheep are at the very top of the food chain, the more environmental toxins they tend to concentrate. The ways that these animals are raised for food are not terrific, and many of them carry residues of antibiotics. In the case of beef, hormones that are used in raising conventional beef that aren't good for us. The saturated fat in meat is part of the overload of saturated fat in the North American diet. And one thing I think you can say is that whether or not you are in favor of vegetarianism, that people in North America eat way too much meat. And in fact, one of the things I found when I made this dietary change was that when I would serve vegetarian meals, this was again back in the early 1970s, people would often look around waiting for the main course to come. And we think that meals tend to be organized around centerpieces of meat, roasts, whatever. And that's missing, people don't know what to do. I also had the comments that I got when people learned that I was a vegetarian were, the ones I heard most frequently was, well, where do you get your protein? Nobody ever asks you where you're getting your fat or where you're getting your sugar, but people have this obsession about protein and think protein has to come from animal foods. Anyway, there are many very good vegetarian protein sources, including grains and nuts and beans, and especially soybeans and the whole array of soy foods that come from that.